All right, we lost the camera because it says it got too hot. My hope is that it stays alive for us. We're currently 10 miles out from Ames. We're going to do a landing real quick and see how that works out for us. Some landings today, pretty rough. Had some crosswind landings, so. Ames traffic, Mooney 875 is 10 miles to the southwest, inbound for runway 31, Ames. But anyway, it's pretty rough. We had a really nasty crosswind at Guthrie County Municipal Airport there. Had straight 90-degree crosswinds, and they were like, gosh, 15 knots. So I had the plane coming in kind of at an angle and kind of dancing around, doing my whole dancer thing. But I'm a dancing Jansen, and I made it on the ground safely, which was huge. So we're going to come in here, come scream into here, and get the plane put back in the hangar and start draining the oil. The engine temperatures are good and warm, so we should be good to go.
Hey, Iowa Mooney pilot here. I am in my room, my man room as I like to call it now. My wife, as you know, kicked me out of the normal bedroom, our master. She took all my clothes and moved them from the master and put them in the wonderful closet you see behind me here. Put them all in there and said, you get ready over there now. So it works out good because I get up at 2:30 in the morning every morning to go to work, and so it allows her to sleep better. So I get to leave the room, sneak out, tiptoe out, come across the hallway, and I get ready in here. So this is my room, and I'm going to turn it in. I'm going to show you what I've done to my room here. Since she moved me over here, I thought, you know what, I'm going to make this room my room, and I'm going to do what I want to it. I've done some things to it, and she's already said something. She's already said, hey, you're going to make it gaudy. I'm like, you're right. I am going to make it gaudy. It's going to be fun. It's going to be my room. So, but I wanted to do a short video real quick about what's going on in my life here recently. I have been flying. Last week, I took the plane up and I was planning on changing the oil. So obviously when you change the oil with airplanes, you want to get the engines good and hot. Why do you do that? Well, the engine oil in it is 2850 weight, so it's kind of like molasses. So by heating up the oil, it makes it a lot smoother and easier to drain. So by heating up the engine and flying back and landing and then quickly dumping the oil out of it, it runs out a lot smoother. So I ended up taking the plane and we flew it, took off from Ames and flew the wonderful long distance of about 8 or 9 miles to Boone. It was part of the Fly Iowa Challenge. It's another airport that I get to knock off my list, so I flew there and did a landing there in Boone. Had some pretty brutal winds that day. They were 15 to 20 knot winds, and they were coming out of the westerly direction. So I had to battle some crosswinds when I came in to land there in Boone, but I ended up deciding, well, I'll taxi back and I'll take off. But you know what? Let's go to the next closest airport. So I flew on down to Perry. Got to, it wasn't much of a trip. It was maybe another 20 miles is all, so it didn't take long. Flew down to Perry. Had two runways side by side. And I'm thinking, well, that looks like a really big taxiway and a runway, or two runways. Well, it happened to be two runways. Perry is actually building a second runway. So when I got closest, I noticed two big yellow X's on the brand new runway that they're pouring over there. Obviously, we're not going to be, you can't land on runways with big giant X's on them. So came in and landed on the other runway, and it looked pretty old. It had a lot of tar, like repair work done to the runway. And so when I landed, I could now know why they are building a new runway. It was like going off-roading, landing on a grass strip. The thing was bumpy, and as you guys know, in a Mooney, the Moonies don't have shock absorption. They have these little shock discs, these little rubber discs in there. And so it's kind of a rough ride when you're on the ground. Flies great and smooth in the air. It's just rough when you're on the ground. So landed and did a lot of bouncing and thought, man, that was the roughest runway I've ever been on. And so I taxied back, did a short field takeoff because I wanted to get off the ground as quickly as possible. So added some flaps, hit the gas, and went and got up in the air. When I got up in the air, I decided, let's go to the next closest airport. But thought, Guthrie County Airport out by Lake Panorama. So flew down towards Lake Panorama and texted one of my buddies, Wolfman from high school. Hit it, basically said, hey, I'm gonna fly over your house. And he lives right there on the lake, Lake Panorama. So I kind of snaked the lake because it kind of winds around. And when I got to the end of the lake, I looked to my left, and there's Guthrie County. So took it in there. That was a really fun landing because the winds were coming out of 270, which is straight out of the west, at 15 knots. And the runway is 1836. So I ended up landing 18, which means it's a 90-degree crosswind at 15 knots. And I thought to myself, do I really want to do this? I ended up coming down and crabbing down into the runway, got it straightened out right at the end, touched down, landed, had all 3 tires, and then the wind blew me and I almost went off the runway. So, but nonetheless, I saved it, got back to the end, collected myself because I was pretty puckered up there, and turned around, took off going north, runway 36, got up off the ground really quickly, and then jetted back to Ames. And when I say jetted, I was doing over 200 miles an hour back to Ames. It was a really quick flight back. But I did that, got down, drained the oil, pulled off the one side, threw the hose in, oil drain, revisited the plane the next day. That's where I took off the filter, put a new filter on, put some a safety wire on it to make sure that the filter doesn't spin itself up back out. Then I ended up cleaning out the engine bay area because there was some oil in the bottom of the engine bay, and we had to clean it out because it was actually dripping out the bottom and then running down the underside of the airplane, and it was coming off, and it was boogering up my camera that I had put on the backside of the underneath the aircraft. This is my little 360 camera, and on a lot of my videos, noticed lately that, especially after I spilled this oil in there, that the front lens here was getting coated with smudge, and it wasn't giving very good pictures. So I ended up cleaning all that stuff out. And the reason that there was oil in there is because...
Hey big guy, how'd it go in there?
I missed.
What does that mean?
I missed.
Oh, hell no.
I'm a man, and I couldn't hit the hole when I was pouring oil, and it poured all down inside of it. Poured probably half a quart in there before I realized that I was missing the inlet. But nonetheless, got it all cleaned out, spick and span. You could almost eat off of the engine bay compartment, which was pretty nice. So nice and clean. I actually went underneath the aircraft and cleaned all of that stuff up too. My hope is that any residual dripping is minimal, and I'll recheck it as time goes on. Ended up pulling the plane out, fired it up, made sure that there was no leaks after my oil change. Once I realized there was no leaks, nothing's leaking out of the filter or any other places, I put the cowlings and everything back on and took the plane for a short flight down to Ankeny and put some fuel in it, and then flew it back and again rechecked it. No oil leaks, no nothing. So I think we're good to go with the oil change. It's been 6 months since I've had the oil change in it. and I had 34 hours of runtime on it, and I only put one cord in during that 34 hours. So that is good. Not a lot of oil consumption coming out of that motor, which is pretty awesome. So today is Monday, and this week is going to take forever for me because on Friday I'm leaving for Ecuador for 2 weeks. I can hardly wait to get down there and start having some fun. I plan on taking the cameras with me. I'm going to take the 360 camera. I'm going to take the GoPros with me. I'm even going to take my brand new waterproof case with me because I am going to go scuba diving with Santiago from Ocean Freaks down in Manta. So he's going to take me out, and so we're going to schedule something and go out. My hope is that the weather will be good down there, good enough for me to dive. Last year when I went down there, we had planned a dive. The first week, couldn't do it. They had a thing called the king tides. They're really rough seas, a lot of waves, a lot of churning up of the water down there, and so it made visibility really, really poor. So we decided not to go. It would be a waste of time, effort to go scuba diving in weather like that. So, and having those king tides. So I decided we're not going to go. But this time I hope to go. There's not the king tides, and so my hope is that we can get out and go scuba diving. It's probably not going to be a dive boat that I'm used to the big giant 40-footers. This will probably be a small little 20-foot dinghy type deal that we're going to go dive off of. But nonetheless, anytime I get a chance to go scuba diving, I'm certainly going to love doing it. So I will be taking this down with me, taking the GoPro with me, and we'll see what we can see down there. Hopefully got some cool things to see. We were planning on going to the Galapagos when we were down there this time, but it is the high season. What is the high season? Well, the high season means that everybody and their mother from Canada and the Americas go to the Galapagos during this time. Why? Because it's nice and warm there and it's cold here. So they charge an arm and a leg, and it was going to cost Miss Dee Dee and I about $5,000 to go for 5 days there in the Galapagos. And we thought, let's save our money. Let's go a different time. We are going to go back to the Galapagos Islands. However, in June, not this June, but next June, we'll go back to Ecuador. Reason we picked June is because that is when they have the whales that are going to be being born there in the Pacific Ocean right off of Ecuador. So there's a lot of whale jumping right off the beach, and you see whales jumping and doing all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go experience that, and we're going to go during the low season where it's going to be a lot cheaper to go. So we're going to go to the Galapagos then. They say you want to spend at least 3 days in each island. There's 3 islands, so 9 days. We won't do that. We'll probably spend 5 days maybe on one island, figure some things out, and then we'll go back again some other time and explore the other islands. But that'll be for another trip, another time, and maybe I'll be scuba diving there in the Galapagos. That's what I'd really like to do. And if you don't know what the Galapagos Islands are, they are where Charles Darwin did his whole theory of evolution experiments and scientific studies. So it's a really important part of evolutionary, the evolution of animals, especially in the world. They've got certain types of animals that are only native to that island because it's so far away, it's so far removed from the mainland. So really cool. I hope to have some time over there in June of 2025. That should be a good time. I also am planning on going paragliding. We're going to go jump off some mountains, do some paragliding. That'll be fun. I'm excited about that, to be able to see Ecuador from the sky using a paraglider. So we're going to try and get that in as well. And of course, I'm going to go see some of my other new friends there in Ecuador, go play golf with Joe and Micah down there in Ecuador. And the golf course down there, Monte Cristi, is pretty awesome. So last time I went, I shot an 82, I think. Yeah, 82, I can't remember. But not too bad for a guy who only golfs maybe once a year. So had some fun down there. Going to go back down there and play golf with those guys. Going to have a lot of good food and show you guys what Ecuador is about. We might even go through the rainforest and do some stuff like that. So I'm really excited. I leave Friday. Friday can't come fast enough. And on Friday, it's supposed to be a high of 8 degrees. 8 degrees. So I'm thrilled to be getting out of 8-degree weather and getting down there to 85-degree weather. So going to be awesome. So when I was telling you about my room here, this is my room that my wife said, here, this is your space now. This is where you get ready. So I said, well, I'm going to make it my own, and I'm going to start doing some things to it. So I'm going to show you what I have done. I used to have a round desk in here. It was a gaming table. And in one of my other, I think my video where I showed my drone, which is sitting right here, I was showing off my drone. I had this gaming table. I got rid of the gaming table. I put it in a different bedroom, but I ended up buying a desk for myself and then doing some other things. So we will take you with me here and do the whole Dancy Dancerton. So and this is basically what I've done. So I have built myself a fun wall here. My daughter, Taylor, bought me a Mooney silhouette. It's made of steel and it's three-dimensional. It kind of it's off the wall. It sits off the wall, so it's, you know, you can reach behind it and stuff. But really cool. Adds some really cool shadows and stuff to the wall with the lights. And then I did these tiles. All kinds of pictures of really cool stuff. I got a picture of me and my grandson Malachi. This is my first solo picture. This is when my daughter Taylor and Colin got married. There's the old Mooney right there, and then of course my parents on the end there when we were in Cocoa Beach last year. My wife and I down here in this corner. This is when we went to the American Gothic house in southeast Iowa. I can't remember the name of the town, but that's the American Gothic house. If you don't know what the American Gothic is, Google it. There's a guy with a pitchfork standing there. They actually made a painting in front of that, and that's what it is. And of course, this is me skydiving with Patrick there in the background. This is the time when I got my actual license. This is my my private pilot, the day that I actually passed my private pilot check ride. So this is Miss Taylor and I, my daughter Taylor. This is when we were flying to Cocoa Beach. And then finally, this is when Taylor and I flew over to Mount Rushmore. So we're going to keep making tiles and keep adding tiles in here. These are really cool. They're magnets. They just basically magnet and stick on the wall, and we'll put them up there. I also got this awesome desk. This desk is like an L-shaped desk. And then I bought a laptop. And the reason I bought a laptop is my den downstairs is where I was doing all the video editing. And I was taking up the computer, and my wife was like, can I do some? I'm going to buy some stuff on Amazon. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I was like, yeah, I have to stop what I'm doing. So I bought this laptop. So this laptop stays in here. This is mine. I get to do whatever I want to with it. And I'm going to actually I bought a big one so that I could do my video editing. So I could do all that stuff up here and you know, not take up the den downstairs. So this is really cool too. So I also bought this little charging station here. It has all these USBs. Basically, I use that to charge all the batteries for my unique cameras and stuff. So I've got that there, and you can see my drone sitting here, and it's currently charging. My mom was so awesome, and she got me for Christmas this wonderful little clock here. This clock has the standard 6-pack on it. She also got me the little Mooney sign up there, the vintage Mooney sign, which is pretty cool. She got me these other signs. It says, gone flying, be back shortly. And then this one says, flying lessons, $1 to fly, $50 to land. I thought that was pretty awesome. So we're going to continue to make this room into an aviation themed room, a lot of fun. I'm going to plan on putting up above here a prop. I'm going to buy a prop and hang it up there. And then I got one more thing that is super cool, and I got to put the phone or the camera down in order to show you guys this. And this is way cool. So here we go. I bought this. This is a map. A map of Iowa and all the airports that are on it. So all the airports that are on these things, on this thing. This thing is 20 by 30. I'm going to hang it up on the wall over here. And when I hang it up on the wall, before I hang it on the wall, I'm going to take this little tool right here. This is a hole punch, a 7mm hole punch. and I'm going to punch little holes in 25 airports. Today, I'm supposed to be receiving a METAR kit. So it's basically a kit that has a little LED lights, and I will glue those LED lights in where all the holes are. Then I will program a little computer that sits in the bottom of it. I'll program that computer to be able to receive weather. So basically this will hang on my wall, and these lights will be constant, these LEDs will be constantly be lit. And what will happen is if it's green, if it's a green light, it means it's VFR day. It means visual flight rules all the way. You got great visibility, great ceilings, the whole 9 yards. If you see a lot of green on the map, it means, hey, this is a great day to go flying. Today would be a yellow day, IFR day. So if it's a solid yellow map, then you know it's IFR. If it is blue, it'll be like marginal VFR. So that's kind of like where you're flirting with between VFR and IFR type weather. So there'll be different colors, and then if it's flashing, it means that the winds are high, and the winds I get to set. So I can say, hey, my crosswind component that I'm comfortable flying in, maximum comfortable, is maybe 15 knots. So anytime the wind's over 15 knots, those will flash, and only those particular airports that are reporting that. So it's a little computer that's constantly taking in that information. I bought this little DIY METAR deal off of DIYmetar.com. 75 bucks for a 25 LED deal. I got the low profile ones. I bought this canvas print here. I think I paid $35 for it. So total, you're looking at a little over $100, and I'm going to have a METAR map that's going to be lit on my wall. So when I come into my desk and say, hey, listen, it's green from here all the way up to the northwest Iowa, I can go up to the airport, jump in my plane, and go fly and go see Taylor, or I can go do this, I can go do that. But I think it'll be a really cool map when it's all done and said and done. So that'll be something that I'll work on, probably start working on it a little bit this week. When I get back, I'll finish it. I don't think I'll be able to finish it all in a week. I'm going to take my time and do it right and make sure it looks good. So we'll be doing that. But I thought that was pretty cool. Currently got some new clothes, got some new kicks and new stuff over there laying on my chair. Reason I got that sitting over there is because I'm going to be starting packing, start throwing some stuff into my bag. Couple of things that when I get ready to leave for Ecuador, I can't take the batteries that are on these drones. You can't pack them in my checked baggage. I'm going to have to put them in my backpack. And what I'm going to do is take my flight bag, my November 78875 flight bag, and I'm going to fill it up with my laptop and my drone stuff and my cameras and my headset, because I'll be listening to this as I'm flying. I'll have it on my phone, hooked up to my phone, so I'll be able to watch movies and do all that kind of stuff while we're flying, because flying down to Ecuador will take us 2 days. We'll fly Monday down to one airport down in Charlotte. We're actually going to stay there overnight because it's a 13-hour layover. We'll get up the next morning, jump on a plane from there, go from there to Miami, and then Miami to Guayaquil. Once we get to Guayaquil, Ecuador, we'll be picked up by Manta Juan. Manta Juan is a great guy. He's very popular down in Manta. He works with a lot of people, English-speaking people. So he'll come and pick us up at the airport and drive us the 3 hours back to Manta. So looking forward to that. And then when I get to Manta, I hope to watch the Kansas City Chiefs and the Dolphins game. And I'm really rooting for my Dolphins. I know a lot of people, a lot of Midwest people are really rooting for Kansas City Chiefs, but I really want to see my Dolphins do well. It's been a long time since I've had a lot to cheer about, so my hope is that the Dolphins do well. But anyway, just wanted to clue you guys in on what's going on with the channel and stuff. I have been flying. I have been taking my cameras. It's just unfortunate that the cameras aren't working like I want them to, and they die on me quickly. We'll get those things figured out, and then hopefully we'll have some good content. I do have some ideas moving forward. So my hope is that when I get back, we're going to start taking some people up in the airplane that are really interesting and cool and have really cool stories. I have a lot of friends that are really, really interesting, have awesome stories to share. and my hope is to be able to get them up in the plane and share that with you. And when I say awesome stories, these are people that you've heard of, guaranteed. So it's if you're anywhere from the Midwest, or if you're into anything and you can look them up, they'll be there. So my hope is that we'll have some really cool people on and have some cool interviews and be able to find out a little bit about their lives and go to some cool destinations here in Iowa. So Fly Iowa Challenge, busted out a couple airports, Guthrie, Perry, and Boone. So pretty jazzed about those things. I'm really excited about continuing to keep flying, but like I said, I'm more excited about going to Ecuador for 2 weeks, and we leave this Friday. So you guys take care. Remember that I love you, the Lord loves you, and it doesn't hurt to give at least 1 hour a week to God. So go to church. You'll find plenty of blessings there. I guarantee it. So until we see each other again, I will see you the next time in Ecuador. So peace out, everyone.